Good evening, Internet. Welcome back to Bloodstone, our Four Dads 5th edition D&D campaign set in the Forgotten Realms. I am 8BitPonies. I am your Dungeon Master for the evening, and it has been a little while since we played. All of
Damn
us
right it
are,
has been.
all of us have been chatting off stream here for the last little bit, and you probably caught just a tiny little bit at the end of that. But you know, that's what happens. Shit happens when you party naked, I guess. We we are about to dive off into our very first.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Oh man.
I just rolled a D100 in roll 20 and got a 1 for the audience. So it's going to be that kind of night.
It's gonna be that kind of night. We're gonna dive off into our D&D campaign here very shortly. Our session for the evening. This is episode 29, and it is called Chosen. When last we left our intrepid group of adventurers, the party had fled from Oakhart Manor as an alarm blared out in the city. Alarm bells ringing throughout the city to alert the guard, or the watch, and also the wardens that an attack on the city was imminent or was in progress. Given that so many notable personages were at Oakhart, the wardens and the Bloodstone military evacuated everyone to Palace Hill and to the palace itself for safekeeping, as they struggled to figure out exactly what was happening within the city. As the alarm bells kept ringing, the party transitioned. I say party, but I mean that in both variants, I suppose. The adventuring party and the celebration, or the participants of the celebration, transitioned across town to a place of safety underneath the Grand Palace of Bloodstone, accompanied by the Warden's Marshal, Sebastian Killian, the companion protectors were subjected to a spell that, at least temporarily, transitioned them all to another plane of existence, or a demi-plane of existence, where they could speak freely. In this demi-plane, they were briefed by Marshal Killian and told a number of things that either they already knew or suspected, but also some additional information as well, that the attack on Heliogabalus that very evening was perpetrated by none other than an undead horror that appeared to be a skeletal horseman. Sprout, a member of the party who had left the celebration, actually witnessed and fell victim to the horseman. The fell creature's aura compelling all around it to not only gorge themselves upon food that would rapidly rot in the creature's presence, but also begin to slowly, or not so slowly, or very rapidly starve to death. Sprout, only barely surviving the encounter himself, was unfortunately subject to witnessing the death of his somewhat new companion, Dal Makito, the halfling, actually starving to death in the arms of the skeletal horseman.
Poor guy.
Rescued from the situation as the skeletal horseman fled the city after delivering a warning and an ultimatum, Sprout was brought to the palace as well and reunited with his companions and told his story of the encounter with the horseman. It was revealed to the party that this is one of at least 3 horsemen that the wardens are already aware of, who have sacked and attacked various villages and small towns throughout the Bloodstone Kingdom, the lower Bloodstone Kingdom. No known pattern to the attacks. Most of the appearances of these horsemen were heralded by similar auras of influence. Some producing disease that rapidly onset and rapidly progress. Some inciting rage and murderous intent within all that would be within the range or the aura of the horseman. And then, of course, the aura of starvation that was on display in the farmer's quarter market outside the Baron's Gate that Sprout himself witnessed and experienced. It was also revealed that with the deaths of many of the more powerful personages linked to His Majesty the King in the Bloodstone Kingdom, that the intelligence network Spy Song is effectively in shambles. Their entire leadership, or the majority of their entire leadership, either dead or missing. This not being a necessarily new information for the party, but did confirm for them that the situation in the Bloodstone Kingdom is considerably more dire than the public is aware of. It was also confirmed that the government, or at least the key forces within the government, is aware and does believe that King Gareth Dragonsbane has been replaced by a doppelganger. Or at least by an imposter. All of this information laid at the party's feet. They were also made witness to, or given additional information on a task that was laid before Eldrick moments before the warden entered the room by Lady Basra Fooling, the Grand Master of the Order of the Golden Cup, Eldrick's would-be knightly order. Fooling told Eldrick that he was soon to be shipped out to the west, to the land of Thar on the Moonsea, to represent the Crown's interests in a war council, as Impilter and several of the city-states of the Moonsea were going to war. Exactly what for and with whom has not yet been explained, but it is understood that Eldrick is expected to, in just a few short days' time, depart for the west so that he can participate in this war council on behalf of the Kingdom of Bloodstone and the Crown of Bloodstone. The last pieces of information that was given to Eldrick and company before the spell ended and they were returned to the chamber beneath Palace Hill was that Eldrick was requested for representing the Crown or for this war council by His Majesty himself, or the imposter posing as his Majesty, but that the actual request came down from a member of the ruling government of Impilter, who will lead the war council, the Lord Halembrar of the Lords of Empress II. This information, all new things for Eldrick and the party. They were given some time to digest the information as Marshal Killian moved on to resume his duties and figure out exactly what was going on with the horsemen following the horsemen's attack. The party now, as we pick up tonight's session, the party now rests in the room that they were previously brought to, with Mycaria and Madeline Oakes returned to them, and they must now decide what they're going to do next. I just realized we don't have music, so I'm going to do that.
I was supposed to be humming that entire time. Oh, crap, my bad.
That was in honor of the somber nature of the situation we're in.
Yes, indeed.
Now we will start our rendition of Cats being hummed by Drog.
Please no. Please
no.
Please no. What do you guys want to do next? All of you are together in the room currently, is the five of you, the Lady Madeline Oakes, who is currently asleep on a small daybed that was provided for her as she lost consciousness upon coming to the castle, or just prior to coming to the castle. And then
It's too
Mykaria.
much. She got the
Mykaria,
vapors.
our living eavesdropper.
And Mykaria, the living eavesdropper, who, upon your reappearance, tilts her head and looks at Mykaria very curiously, but says nothing. Sebastian Killian leaves the room, and the door is closed behind him. He has bid you to stay here as long as you like, and then you are free to leave the palace as you see fit. But to please take some time and rest and relax, and give the military the opportunity to clean up the mess left by the attack at the Northern Gate before going on to continue, I suppose, rather than start your own investigations.
Smells like cover-up.
Sprout will continue to eat.
Did he want us to wait here for a little bit, or was he just like, yeah, whenever you're ready to leave, you can go? We've already done the thing.
He was not specific, but you get the impression that if you attempt to leave right now, no one will stop you.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well then, Eldrick is going to scoop up Madeline and turn to his companions and say, let us speak back at the manor. And then he's gonna head on out.
Follow along.
A very long walk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
I'm
hope
going to
is
take the plate with me.
Mm-hmm.
Sprout
back it up a little bit more.
Sprout can't currently leave unless he's carried. He is not strong enough to walk at the moment.
Well, then Eldrick would have assessed that and not scooped up Madeline and said, "Let's leave." That is true. I forgot. You just survived the whammy.
I just aged all of you in just a couple of seconds.
All right. Well, then in that case, Eldrick will look around the room, look to Sprout. Feeling any better? I know it's only been like 10 minutes, so probably not.
I'm still hungry.
Well, keep on eating.
Famished, actually. When I say that, I do not cease my consumption of food to respond to your statement.
Yeah, imagine he's talking through eating, and it takes an entire chicken. You're like 9 feet tall, aren't you, or something?
I'm pretty damn tall. I don't think I'm quite 9 foot, but I'm well over 8.
I like how you said that like you were going to tell me you were 6'8", but then you were like, I'm not 9 feet, I'm only 8.5.
Right. Totally different.
Just got to say, as somebody who's 5'4", insulted. Not really. Anyway.
You have to revisit the short, like 5'9" conversations.
Mm-hmm. Every time.
All the time.
He's kind of short, like 5'8".
Is that a short joke?
My goodness.
What's the plan, Eldrick? What are we doing here? And we can talk here, right? You're nothing against hashing this out?
I think we can talk here, broadly speaking. Maybe be fuzzy on some details. I don't have any concept of how secure the castle is, given that somebody was killed here.
Because it's been a few weeks since we played last, one of the revelations that was given to you prior to the briefing that you received from Sebastian Killian was that he had detected that someone or something was actively
Alanir, right?
Actively watching via some type of scrying sensor. The ambassador Alanir, yes. or at least was at that time.
Well, can you do anything about that, Macaria? Make sure that we're not going to be listened to.
You are our paranoia detector. Or enforcer, our paranoia enforcer.
All of the above.
This lady has put me in an impenetrable bubble no less than 3 times.
I have a question. Does anybody know or has anybody heard of any type of source, curse, magic, etc. that could have caused what happened to me happening?
I mean, there are myriads of magic in our world. I have not specifically encountered any that do exactly what was described by you. But certainly we have seen things that can just outright kill gobs of people.
Clearly some
Fear
form of
spells.
necromancy.
That's likely the case.
From a horrible chef.
I can ward an area today if we need to, if we're going to move our conversation elsewhere. But unfortunately, I don't have my singular non-detection prepped.
An area might be fine if we want to talk about it now. We're
I
back.
suspect we might need to be here for a little bit for. I don't know that any of us are going to be carrying Good Sir Sprout here anytime soon.
How
mean,
badly
he-
is Sprout wounded?
He's emaciated too. I
Yeah.
could probably carry him.
Yeah, he's not wounded. Not necessarily wounded in that you don't see any gashes or abrasions or anything on his body, but he does look probably about half his weight prior to prior to the last time that you saw him. He's skin and bones, and his skin seems paper thin. You can literally see his bones, his entire skeletal structure through his skin.
Worst diet plan ever.
I mean, if we need to move
Effective,
him,
though.
I can. But one place is as good as another, unless you believe your manor to be safe. We did have 2 powerful wizards virtually walk through the front door.
This is the front door, or do they come in like the servant's entrance?
I'm pretty sure they just decided to be there and were.
Exactly.
Actually,
Wizards did it.
To the roof.
I think the scary part is that one of them decided to be there and brought the other one with him, probably to keep us busy. Unless I have explosive runes written on my cape, which is
That's the
highly
last time you put a +1 on anybody's invitation.
yeah, no joke. Oh, Pardik, I see you brought the antagonist of the entire campaign with you.
Pardik was thoros'l's +1.
Oh, that's true. Well then.
Aldrich, have you heard back from your new friend? As I was coming back, it was quickly heading towards the source of the trouble.
Oh, that's a great question. Beep, beep, beep. That's a great question. I'm not used to having a familiar. One
Use
moment.
the forehead phone.
Endurus, have you found anything, my friend? How fare you?
There is no immediate response from Endurus.
I didn't take
We're
long.
also in some sort of pocket dimension, so you may not be on the same plane.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
probably for the best. For us having a conversation here. Well then. I suspect the correct course of action is to head west and participate in the War Council.
Should we ward this area first, Eldrick?
Well, if we decide that, it's likely to be announced publicly, at least to those who need to know, which means that people will know that. But yes, Makari, if you can ward this area, that would be appreciated.
All right, give me 10 minutes.
All right. I am going to. Eldrick is going to join if there is food here, Eldrick is going to join Sprout in getting a meal in, because
There are refreshments. There is considerably more that has been brought and basically just left within Sprout's reach, but there were things left brought into this chamber specifically for your party as you arrived, or just before you arrived, that you have access to. Yes.
Eldrick will say a prayer to Ilmater, the verse about the feast and the unfortunate king, and cast Detect Poison and Disease.
Okay. You most certainly detect disease and poison within the spell's radius. I'm looking at the specific wording of the spell so that I can tell you exactly what you should be able to detect.
Oh, it's Sprout.
I suspect at least some of it's Sprout.
Bear with me just a moment. I'm right there. Okay.
Duration, you can sense the presence and location of poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet of you. Kind of poison, poisonous creatures, and diseases.
Yeah, you certainly detect a poison and a disease within Sprout.
Okay.
It is not a poison or poisonous creature or disease that you can currently identify with this spell.
Gotcha.
And that it is, or at least that you can reconcile with any disease that you are familiar with, or any poisons you are familiar with. It appears to be it appears to be, for lack of a better term or set of terms, a poisonous disease.
Oh my. Well, in that case, Eldrick is going to put a hand on Sprout's shoulder, and use 5 points of lay on hands to attempt to cure one disease or neutralize one poison. In fact, I'll just put 10 points into it just to cover both of them bases to see if it has any effect.
Make me a charisma check. Just a flat out charisma check.
Flat out charisma check. Well, my rolls have been just fantastic tonight, so
You got the bad one out of the way.
we're about to find out.
A bad one out of the way.
One.
Straight up charisma check.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's a respectable 17.
You channel the might of Ilmater, or at least the grace of Ilmater, and you feel that virtue pass from you through your connection with Sprout, and you see the color in his flesh immediately begin to return. He doesn't regain weight, but he definitely his pallor looks significantly better after the touch.
Gotcha. I'm going to pump 20 more hit points into him, just
However,
Yep. Uh-oh.
as you watch the color return to him, you see the flesh, the hair, the considerable amount of hair on his arms and the rest of his body that is visible begin to kind of stand on end and spark with green. Then he bursts into flames.
What? Is he screaming on fire?
Not at all. The wispy green flames seem to rise from his body and just completely limn him in a pale green flame. I'm looking at thoros'l there, just losing his shit.
What the hell?
Oh man, what would be the
Okay.
What did you do to Ilmater?
I mean,
This is new.
by the will of Ilmater, I have cured the poisonous disease, or the disease is poisonous. On you. This is new. I would like to make a religion check to see if I recognize this as any known stigmata from any religion that I have ever encountered.
Is he burning, or is he like screaming?
by-
and
No, not at all.
Either way, 8-bit, that graphic is amazing.
Sprout doesn't even seem to notice for a moment.
Okay.
Then, as he's kind of, hey, I feel, looks down at himself. There's no pain. There's no heat. There's no anything. It's just a stigma that seems to, or stigmata, as Souls suggested, some type of unintentional magical effect that appears to have taken hold as Eldrick healed you. You feel tons better. You feel the hand of death that had such a tight grip upon your heart and soul loosen that grip and begin to pass from your chest. You take your first easy breath for quite some time, and then you notice you're on fire. And
Wow.
That fire,
stealth rolls are gonna suck now.
that fire spreads from the location that Eldrick touched and spreads to Sprout's entire body. But it also spreads to Eldrick's. And the two of them are just engulfed in this emerald conflagration of wispy green light.
Well, that's a little less new. We've had that happen before. That's unfortunate. Oh my god.
This is normal.
Macarius, like halfway through doing her spell, just kind of looks up. Am I gonna have to stop and try something else now?
No, keep going. Don't.
Okay.
Go ahead and make that religion check if you like, Eldrick.
I absolutely like. I very much like the religion check, not the thing that is going on. The thing that is going on is the bad. I assume it's the bad. 8. Okay. I need to... And that would be a 16 total.
16 total.
No, wait. That would not be a 16 total. Hold on. That's a 24 total.
Yeah, you didn't have the 8.
Yeah, I missed the 8. Apparently I'm fat fingering it.
With a 24, you... Green, and specifically green light, is not... green flame or green sparks are not traits of any known deity in the Faerunian pantheon of which you are aware. However, there are a number of deities who maybe are not represented by a greenish flame, but there are those who are represented by flame. Or the color green, half the color green within their sort of iconography. But specifically green flame, there is actually only one that has all of those things. It is the one known as the Bane Son, Iyachtu Xvim, the Lord of Terror.
Gee. That's unfortunate.
This information settles over you, and what?
Eldrick's going to ponder that for a minute while I take notes and other people have opinions.
The Lord of Delicious Chocolate, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beans.
That's what you get when you roll a 1 out of 100.
With a 24, Eldrick, if no one else has anything to interject, I will allow you to ask some questions, if you need to, about what you understand of the Bane Son.
I will do that in just a moment.
Sure.
Let's see.
I think at this point the weird is just so weird. None of us just don't even know anything to say.
No, I got things to say. I just neither of the other yahoos who are in this Google Doc are taking notes, so I'm making sure I get this stuff down. Don't want to throw any shade at anybody. thoros'l.
No, I don't really.
You know, for somebody who sleeps in complete dark, this nightlight is gonna suck.
You're not in any pain, are you? The
No.
last time I got whammied by this stuff, I died. Looks directly at Eldrick.
You did not die from green fire. You died from a hyper-enhanced fear spell. You were not killed by burning. You were killed by terror. Eldrick says, and then immediately looks a little bad about it.
So this is just the first symptom.
Yeah.
The second symptom is death via terror. Awesome.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
Hey. Everybody got better. Everybody got better. Just focus on that. Everybody got better.
What's the
Everyone
one
you've
down
gone
there?
with is still alive.
Okay. Say again.
Every one of your companions is still alive.
Did you?
No, all the ones that died of fear got brought back. All my companions are most certainly not still alive, unfortunately.
Is this getting worse? I guess is my point, Eldrick.
Well, yes. It only used to happen when I used the you-know-whats. Now I was channeling Ilmater's grace and glory there, and now I'm on green fire, so...
And there's a moment there as you are explaining that to thoros'l that you think, and you actually hear a voice kind of whisper in the back of your mind, and it chuckles and says, "But are you?"
Getting worse. It's getting so much worse.
Eldrick is going to sub-vocalize in his head, "Well, I thought I was. Would you like to correct my assumption?" Was that
Eldrick?
in character laughing or out of character laughing?
Did it sound? Are my laughs really so sinister that it sounded like one of something that I would
yes,
normally
they are.
do?
They are.
100%, yeah.
I'm sorry, that was an in-character laugh.
Oh, no.
No bueno.
Gradually, as you're standing there watching, the greenish flames dancing across Sprout's body begin to fade. And in a very short time, as he watches, they fade to embers and then are gone. Eldrick, on the other hand, continues to be an emerald pyre.
That is unfortunate. Bane's son, Iyachtu Xvim. You said I get a couple questions, potentially.
You can ask some questions if you like.
When did Iyachtu Xvim exist, as far as I'm aware?
Iyachtu Xvim is a power that is currently worshipped. He is expected, or in the lore or the dogma, he is intended to be, or was fated to be, the successor to his father, Bane. Many worshippers of Bane who lost their power after the time of troubles when Bane was destroyed turned to the Bane Son and now actively worship the Bane Son. There is a great temple off to the west in Zentil Keep, which is a name that you've heard most recently. The city of Zentil Keep is actually ruled by what used to be the Church of Bane, and is now the Church of Xvim.
There you have it.
How far west is that?
Further west.
That's not the tower we went to, right? We went to a totally different place with a Z name. The Zenparum. Never mind. So Zentil Keep.
Correct. Zentil Keep. That's correct. You have not been to Zentil Keep before.
Right. How far west is it? Is it past where we're supposed to be going to go to war?
You recall that Zentil Keep is actually expected to potentially participate in the War Council.
What? With us?
as the city states of the Moon Sea band together against this new threat, along
Oh,
with
so is it?
along
Okay.
with Impilter and Bloodstone.
So that's actually a city-state on the Moon Sea.
That is correct. Let me show you the world map, and I will point out to you where that is. So bear with me just a second while I do that.
Sure. Is Xvim their actual current leader, or is he just their deity, as far as I'm aware? Like, is this guy likely to show up and be like, "What's up, bro"?
Like many deific figures in Faerunian religion, the gods are meddlesome and are largely present in palpable and significant ways in their worshippers, or at least their more powerful worshippers' lives, in the same way that Ilmater is present in your life. But
Well,
actually,
hold on here a second. Aren't we just like a few a few decades out from having gods literally walking the world?
that's where I was going with it.
Oh,
Is that
sorry.
only little over a decade ago was this time of troubles when Bane was destroyed, and all of the gods of all of the pantheons known to Faerun actually physically walked the world, the planet. The as far as you know, Xvim was one who returned to the planes, or the deific realm, the divine realm,
Wherever gods go, yeah.
after the time of troubles.
Gotcha. And where's that on the map here? Sorry, I don't think I saw it the first time you pinged it.
I just got it. I just got it taken care of.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
so you are currently here. I'm pinging the map.
Yep, over there in Helio on the east
Yep.
side.
Yeah, the Moon Sea is here,
Mm-hmm.
and Zentil Keep is on the eastern bank, around about in there. Western bank, sorry.
Good times.
Thar, which is the great gray wasteland that you have heard about, is actually here to the north of the Moon Sea. And you are aware that there are actually settlements on both sides of the Galena's Mountains, around in this area, that are trading partners with the Bloodstone Kingdom. One being the city, or the town, perhaps, of Glister, which you've recently heard about in relation to your father's actions.
Was I told where exactly around the Moon Sea I was being sent?
To Mulmaster, actually. Mulmaster is on the actual eastern bank, and just on the other side of the Great Pass, the Mulman Pass, that was opened up earlier this year.
Gotcha. All right. Good times. Good questions. I'm sure none of that information will be relevant later when I'm confronted with a demigod / god.
Would not be the first
Wouldn't be the
time.
So is it getting worse, Eldrick?
Yes. Yes. Yes, that was the first time that I'm aware that it has occurred when I was channeling Ilmater's power instead of other things.
Are you sure you were channeling Ilmater's
I mean, here's a question: are you absolutely sure you were channeling Ilmater's power?
With two people asking him that same question, he's going to look to them and be like,
So they ask the same question at the same time, and as they do so, you hear the voice ask you as well.
"Well, I thought I was."
The effect is really unsettling, as it's almost like it was a pre-programmed or a beyond their control.
Eldrick looks very worried. He's going to pick up some of the food and chew on it kind of absentmindedly as he seems to be lost in thought.
Everybody except for Sprout, make me a perception check. Sprout,
I'm too busy eating.
you're free of this one.
I'm too busy eating.
I think you're too busy not dying.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
Dum,
Perception.
dum, dum.
Linear. Okay.
11
4.
from Icaria.
Explain to me really quickly what you guys are doing. Eldrick, I don't see your roll. You can go ahead and roll this one if you want, but if you don't want to roll it, then that's fine. Perception.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't think I got to, but I definitely will.
Explain to me really quick, like, as you're watching Eldrick, you're watching the flames around Eldrick slowly begin to subside, as they previously did with Sprout. What are each of you doing? We'll start with thoros'l, as you've got the highest perception score.
Yeah, I imagine thoros'l in this kind of like rectangular-ish room with the table set up and whatnot, and the couches and whatnot. He's probably leaning up against the far wall near the door, the closed door, and kind of keeping one ear out for people maybe listening at the door, and watching Macaria do her spell work, and just kind of, you know, being on the kind of a wallflower, more or less.
Macaria, I have a good feel or good sense for what you're doing, but if there's anything additional beyond the ritual that it has taken to try to secure the room, let me know what that is.
No, because it looks like component-wise, I'd be going completely around the area, making, like a line or outer material.
Got it.
So every once in a while, maybe stopping and making a comment, but having to keep doing that.
Okay, and then finally, Alanir, what are you doing?
Well, as I was, I'm pretty sure, not too far from Sprout when we first came in here. I probably was still standing pretty close when the green flames happened, so I might have taken a step or two back away from him. But I think most of my attention is focused on kind of like between Sprout and Eldrick.
Okay.
Just trying to assess the flames, what it means. So he's probably not too far from him, so he's kind of, probably got those two on either, basically side of his main vision. And that's kind of what he's focused on.
And Eldrick, apart from shaking in your boots, what are you doing?
I got a 10 on my roll total. Eldrick is looking down at the food that he has just absentmindedly picked up, contemplating. He's doing a little bit of soul searching, and he's contemplating what could possibly, whether or not he's ever heard any stories about people accidentally channeling other gods.
Okay.
He's very distracted. Very distracted.
Sprout, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What color are your eyes?
You mean were?
Oh gosh. What color are my eyes? I want to say they're like a dark hazel.
No, they're not. Alanir, as you're kind of vacillating between keeping an eye on Sprout and watching Eldrick slowly burn in a pyre of emerald flame, you happen to note that the same greenish sort of light that burns in Eldrick seems to be the current color of Sprout's eyes. You've seen this once before. The moments after the horrible situation on Ruin Kazai, where many of your party members were slain due to an explosion of divine magic. When Eldrick quickly worked to reverse what he had accidentally done and used the stones to resurrect all of his companions, all of them, as they came back, displayed this exact same color in their eyes, their irises.
Now, if I recall correctly, I didn't die because I was fleeing in terror.
That's correct. You were actually outside of the radius of the explosion of divine magic when that happened. And so you did not die. You and your former companion, Mauricio, survived that moment.
Yes. So basically, when they got resurrected or whatever, with the stone, they all had that same kind of like greenish color in their eyes.
It passed after a moment, but when they first were resurrected and they first returned to life, their eyes took on this almost glowing, like it's like electric green, and then it faded.
Eldrick, do you see Sprout's eyes?
Eldrick will look up at Sprout's eyes.
You get that familiar sense again that something is amiss, and yeah, you're taken back those months to Ruin Kazai when the first thing that you did was you resurrected thoros'l, and thoros'l's eyes opened and were alight with this green color, this greenish energy. For a few moments, and then they passed back to their normal color. You remember more than just that moment. You remember the terror that you felt, thinking, "Oh gods, what have I done?" Not just the outburst of magic, but using the stones that you know to be vile things, but using their power to bring back your companions. You wonder what wondered at that time, what perhaps you may be brought with them.
Eldrick's going to look to see if Makaria is done with her ritual.
By the time that Eldrick's bonfire anima subsides, Makaria completes her spell. Makaria, you are aware as the spell takes hold, and it essentially radiates out from the ritual points that you placed throughout the room, and covers the room in sort of a grayish radiance that is visible only to your eyes. You feel a kind of this wave of arcane energy sweep over the room, and almost like a radar wave, it pings against something very briefly as it snuffs it out. And you recognize that it was in fact a scrying sensor near Alanir.
Well, at least one thing is fixed. Someone's not watching us anymore.
Thank
On
you,
the other
Makaria.
hand, we can't get out of here quickly.
We can't get out of here quickly. Why not?
Oh, no teleporting and no planar travel.
Oh. Well, I guess that means that certain wizards can't make guest appearances either. Well, this is bad. He's going to kind of look to thoros'l and Alanir. We might need to seriously assess whether or not I should carry these things anymore.
Makaria, can I ask you a quick question? When you cast the spell, you cast from your normal spell slots, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Carry on.
Of course you should keep them with you, Eldrick. Who else would you possibly trust to keep them safe besides yourself?
That is a fair question. But I am
Who
worried
can handle such a weight?
that the powers Ilmater has given me would act in such a way has me very worried. Very worried indeed.
honestly, as much as that worries me, it worries me more about the other people who are interested in headstones having those stones.
Exactly.
You guys are enablers.
Regardless of
fair.
what this power is doing to you, you're still choosing what to do and when to do it. And you healed him. I can tell from his complexion you cured him. And green flames didn't seem to hurt him. You're still in charge.
How about maybe in the future you let me try and heal people? You
I
just
mean,
kind of take a step back.
I am down to do this, but healing others is kind of in my nature. So now that I know that I'm apparently lighting people on green fire, I certainly can do so. But uh, that is perhaps a wise suggestion, Alan here.
Regardless, a sword is meant to kill, but my hand chooses who gets killed. If you get my meaning, you should keep the stones with you.
Well, then it shall be so. Now that we are,
Your hand chooses a lot of people, though.
Yeah,
it's
I have
not
question.
that
very
choosy.
specific
Let's be
skill set.
honest, not that choosy.
Quick
Not-
question.
Yes,
Are
sir.
my eyes still like sparkling green?
You have no way. Oh, you're asking the.
No,
Yeah.
I'm asking. I'm asking. Look here. If my eyes are still sparkling green, do I notice any difference in my vision? Do I see better or not as good?
You haven't, unless somebody is specifically called out to you that your eyes are green. You have no idea.
So
If
you
I
aren't
if I
seeing-
suddenly have really good vision, I would notice that, right?
Correct.
So-
If you certainly had.
Wait, what? What do you got? Like cataracts or something?
Like, I almost envision it like
anymore.
almost like a greenish, like almost like that glare when like a cat or
Yes.
something like
Yes,
light is
very
flashed
much.
in it, so
Very much
it's
like
like
that.
a greenish reflection where you wouldn't notice it, but like everyone else is like, "Wow, them eyes is glowing at me."
Goodness.
So I don't suddenly have supervision.
Nor heat vision. No, not at all.
No.
Damn it! All right.
You do have an incredible BMI right now, though.
Incredibly low.
It's not solid.
So my new nickname is Bean Sprout.
I think Zale had it the best when he was calling you Twig.
All that'd be a twig.
It's
If
prophetic.
you had any real vision to
Beanpole.
talk about, you wouldn't have walked into that trap in the first place.
I don't know that, hey, Death Knight appears and murders an entire district of the city is really a trap that one walked into. Anyway. I guess we should talk about Elder say, talk about where we're going to go and what we're going to do. It seems that the people with power in this country are currently working the plan that they should bide their time, I guess. I'm not even entirely sure. They seem deathly afraid that any move against the imposter will harm the king, but I've heard no plan as to what to do about that.
I mean, that's probably not a bad idea because if someone is watching me, for me to have any of that knowledge is probably not a good thing
Having what knowledge?
of what their plans are to do about the imposters.
No, that's fair. Well, we were in a crazy extra dimensional can't contact you space at the time when we learned that. So, but the if we don't go to the west, then I suspect um, that the whoever is the king currently will know the jig is up, and it will foil whatever it is that Sebastian and the others might be attempting to do. Not to mention whatever is actually going on in the Moon Sea will potentially spill over and be a problem as well. So I think we do need to go west. And certainly getting the stones away from Helio probably wouldn't be a bad idea, given what we saw in that painting. Thoughts?
I think you're right. Going to the Moonsea is the good call. If Sebastian Killian is correct, and this is all a prelude to invasion, then you're going to need all the allies you can get. And if Gareth isn't up to the task for one reason or the other, you're it.
But what happens if that's the whole point?
If what's the whole
That
point?
You are it. Putting you somewhere away from the city so you're safe-ish.
Yeah, but they said that I was requested by Ellenbrar from Impilter. Unless we're thinking that the plot goes that deep, which, I mean, that seems a bit of a stretch to me. Mayhaps he's a person who knows a bit about me and knows I'm a man to be trusted, which may not be something he knows about others in the kingdom.
History check.
Why, certainly. I do love history checks. I had straight C's in history for years.
7, in fact.
12.
Not a C.
Seems like you still have straight C's.
Yeah, apparently. C minus even. It's a 12.
You recall hearing probably maybe one of your tutors when you were very young explaining that during the war, the Lords of Empress chose, after the invasion of Damara from Vasa, and even the conquering of Damara by Vasa and the occupation, Impilter held itself apart. Officially. There were several among the Lords of Empress II that argued to assist their neighbor. And unfortunately more who chose the sit and wait. The name Halembrar was firmly in that former camp, in the protect our ally, support our ally, and has been known, or at least suspected, to be a staunch ally of Gareth Dragonsbane. However, recent information suggests, information given to you by Basra Fooling earlier this evening, that the Order of the Golden Cup, of which Lord Halembrar is purported to be a member in the southern chapter, is in a bit of schism at the moment, as the Impilturian, the non-Bloodstone chapters of the Order are currently at odds with His Majesty, due to a summit that was held some weeks ago here within the Bloodstone Kingdom, specifically at the headquarters of the Order of the Golden Cup at the gates, in which the king is reported to have either intentionally or otherwise, but antagonized the other leaders of the order.
Sounds like you definitely need to get in on that and mend some wounds there.
Yeah. Eldrick will. I don't remember if everybody was there for that, but he will share that as another reason that we should head west. Out of character for a second, Sprout actually has some information that would very heavily tilt us towards the west that nobody else in the party knows.
I do.
You think back to your original conversation with the floating undead eye tyrant. He told you about a thing that could turn back time, I believe.
Oh,
And
It
where
might
might
have been
that
might
be
have been
found?
might have been stone shaped, I believe. I'm pulling here for a moment. I'm trying to remember.
Sprout, whenever Eldrick mentions going, like, so when he's been talking about going to the west, that doesn't necessarily mean anything to you. But whenever he says the word Thar, even in kind of your weakened state, Thar represents something to you that is important for different reasons. Zaxis intimated to you that the item that you seek, the artifact that you seek, that can allow its wielder to transition through the sands of time or through the across the river of time, is legend has it, or legend would have it, was lost somewhere within the great gray land of Thar.
wouldn't I have already relayed that information to the rest of my party?
You haven't. I don't think you've had time to do that.
You haven't been with the party a lot since then. You've been kind of holding yourself apart.
And also, Eldrick was out of the hotel basically from the time you went to visit the white parade people. They were in robes. I don't remember what they're called.
The children of the Eye.
Children of the Eye, yeah.
I thought I had already told you guys about everything that happened in regards to that, so apparently I hadn't. So at the mention of Thar, I will then relegate you with the tale of my first encounter with Zaxis and some of the information that was relayed to me and say, hey, if this can undo this, maybe we should go do that.
Well, yes, Sprout. That is an interesting bit of information that you've just imparted upon us
For the very first time.
for the very first time. Eldrick looks to Alanir, thoros'l, and Makaria to see what their thoughts are on the situation.
I
think I made my
Sprout's
thoughts pretty
encounters with
clear.
undead never are going to end up well for him.
You know, if my choices are helping an undead or becoming one,
Well, hopefully we can keep that from happening. Keep you from becoming an
In
undead.
both directions.
It's a near thing today.
Yeah.
Or maybe not an undead, but just a regular dead.
that make me semi-undead now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure out my identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a confusing time in my life right now.
I would use divine sense to detect that, but
No.
apparently using my divine powers is a bad idea right now.
Explodes his head.
I turn it on and everybody in the room just melts. Oh my gosh.
Make good choices.
I mean, it sounds like we have a couple of reasons to head west.
I guess the question for you, Eldrick, is are you okay with leaving your country in the state it is?
No, but given what we have at hand, I'm not sure that we have better options. We could attempt to hunt shadows with these creatures that are decimating places, but I don't know that we have any reason to assume that we could find them any quicker. We could confront the king, but that would bring about everything that Sebastian Killian fears, and likely wouldn't solve anything. We could go off to Morvar and protect the lands, but that certainly wouldn't solve the greater issues. I think this is the thing that we can go and try to fix now, and I think there being potentially another stone that way is only more proof that that is the course of action we need to take.
I think honestly, our best plan is to more or less play the role we've been assigned, so that the wardens can do their work. I think we need to be in the spotlight and drawing the attention, so that they can work whatever they have planned.
Be big, be loud. I agree. I think the bigger concern will be whether or not we're going to be attacked on the road.
Whether
how
or
we-
when?
Well,
After the time I've had here in Helio, I would hope so.
whether, when, likely both, Sprout. Likely both.
Thoros'l will ensure it is.
Oh no, you're right. It does kind of sound the same.
Yeah, almost identical. almost, I would say, a little maybe. What's the word? I can't think of it right now. It was on the tip of my tongue, but I can't quite place it. Couldn't quite put my finger on it. Anyway, I believe Sebastian Killian. I believe the marshal wanted to send troops with us. He was a little non-specific on the numbers.
I mean, you're a baron now. If you're going to travel with an entourage, I assume it's going to be fairly large.
Sure.
Especially as a king's representative.
Yeah, but it'd be really easier if you would just turn us all into smoke again. I mean, that was pretty awesome. Worked pretty well for travel purposes.
Why don't we just have someone to teleport us there?
Well, that's an interesting question as well.
Because we're in a room that you can't
you pull a
teleport
few
from.
strings?
Oh, Sprout, I think he means when we get out of here.
If only there wasn't a teleport master who was strung up somewhere in another plane.
Wait, what now?
Or other characters.
Oh, yeah. Yep. They're effed. They're just in so much trouble. Anyway, certainly we can inquire about that, but I suspect if that was an option, it would have been mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he intends to teleport guards with us, that wasn't really the impression I got. But certainly I can chat with him.
If I'm being watched, I think for having eyes on me or any of us, this process should be long and drawn out to make sure that their gaze is where we want it.
Unless that gaze is just the queen keeping tabs on you.
Yeah, but you forget it's probably not the queen, and it's whoever they're working for or with.
Oh, do you think it's the people that tried to assassinate you?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh well, that's
I mean, I'm
that's a
clearly on
problem.
their radar right now.
Well, is there anything we can do about this persistent scry on you?
We'd have to do it. We'd have to do it. Probably have to do it with everybody though in our group because they've seen us all.
Arcana check. Anybody who wants to make it.
Oh, I would make that. 22.
Pass.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think I'm gonna attempt it.
12?
Wait a minute.
For Macaria.
Makaria is a little off her game today.
She is
Yeah.
very distracted.
I mean, our
for some
resident
reason.
blender got a 22.
Yeah.
thoros'l.
10.
You know what?
Go ahead. Go for it, Alanir.
I doubt it, but
Ooh, 19.
oh, shit.
All of you are familiar with the idea of scrying, looking on someone from afar. Usually it requires some kind of focus, and you know, upon a surface, you can see what it is that you are looking for. Those of you who have a little bit more arcane knowledge, that would be in this instance, Makaria, you know this, but for whatever reason, you just can't draw it to mind right now because you're unsettled by all of the other things that have been happening. But those of you who got a 20 or better, or sorry, Alanir and thoros'l didn't quite get a 20, Alanir, but you understand a little bit more of the esoterica behind it, so a little bit more of the inner workings. Whenever you attempt a scrying spell or you attempt to use a scrying item, you're not actually you're looking in on the person or the thing that you are attempting to or the I think it's a creature or a place that you're attempting to scry. And it actually creates an invisible sensor, which is like an eye, that follows that person around, or it actually resides in that place. And you're seeing through that eye. But you are also aware that a person's will allows for that type of magic to potentially be resisted. And Alanir, you are one of those who, given that you understand this, you're one of those who probably least likely to be attempted to scry upon, at least in the seeming ease that you've been scryed upon most recently. Because if you, in cases where the scrying spell fails, it is possible to alert the target that you have attempted to scry them. What you do, what that particular information or that particular knowledge about the process of scrying tells you is entirely up to you.
I mean, it's been twice already, unless the scribe wasn't. I know when we were moved to that demi plane for a while, did the scry spell end on you? Was it recast? Or did it persist?
You also are aware that if a scrying spell is broken, it cannot be reapplied to its intended target for 24 hours.
Well, in any case, somebody's trying to keep an eye on us.
Makari, I don't suppose you have a way to figure out who might be casting a scry spell?
No, that would be something I think you would need to ask maybe Ilmater for a little guidance on.
Well, we're going to be a little hesitant on too much of that right now. Alan here. What about the Tree Father?
What about him?
Does he know how to open the window back and check on scrying? Can he watch the Watcher?
I mean, well, the Tree Father can do many things.
Can he let
I
you
can do it is
that?
another fact entirely.
Well, can you? my very cryptic friend?
See, believe it or not,
He's like, I don't know, I'm checking furiously.
I do believe scrying is actually available to druids.
Maybe you'd have to know who to scry. I don't
Yeah.
know that you can point it at a scrying eye and be like,
Do
that
it.
thing's boss.
I don't have anything that might obfuscate scrying.
I don't know if you do or not. I'm looking, but I don't see. Doesn't appear that you do. At least not unless you're getting into very powerful magic.
I mean, there's a number of very powerful wizards at least two, I think, powerful wizards in the city. We might be able to ask them. Or I guess a powerful wizard and a powerful druid.
Um,
I could
Sorry.
always ask the Tree Father who is scrying upon me.
I like that idea. I like every part of it. I like that it's an idea as opposed to no idea. Probably my favorite part of that is that there is an idea there. As opposed to the whole lot of nothing I got coming over here.
How? Oh, sorry about that. That was
Ooh,
not what I wanted my voice to sound like there.
that was intense.
How would you go about that, Alanir? Beseeching the Tree Father, whose roots run deep through all the world, to provide you with that information.
That would have to come in the form of a divination spell.
Indeed.
You just pee on a tree and ask him when he shows up to
Exactly
slap
how
you.
No, not exactly like that.
Uh,
There'd have to be some incense and a sacrificial offering.
Do you have access
That actually
as a
costs some
druid?
money. Do what?
Do you have access as a druid to divination?
Let me double check.
I'm going to guess the answer is no if you're asking the question that way.
I don't see it on the druid spell list, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have it for some reason.
Literally only on the cleric list.
Literally only on the cleric list.
You're right. I am not seeing.
Unless I'm looking at that's
Which
on
is
roll
weird.
20 right there.
Oh, that's I think why I figured that
You have a
Unless you're
commune.
a circle of the land druid.
optional spell, I guess, for some druids.
Yeah. That's why I
So,
asked,
no,
because there are
I
some
have that one.
additional spells that are available. But if you're a Circle of the Moon, then no, you don't have that particular spell available
Yeah,
to
I
you.
am Circle of the Moon.
Commune with nature might do something similar.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true. I do not have divination.
What do we want to do, ladies and gentlemen?
I think that Elder's going to inquire if anybody else has any thoughts on our destination. And if not, I think we rest here until Sprout can actually stand up.
well, when do we want to head out? I guess once your little army is ready to escort us.
Well, I think the question is going to be, what is he sending with us? If he's sending like an actual like battalion with us, that probably changes the math as opposed to him sending like a squad. Right? If it's just an honor guard, then maybe the answer is we say we're leaving a certain date and we leave a different date to try and throw people off. But if he's sending, a boat ton of troops with us, then I don't know if there's any reason to do that sort of thing.
So you will recall, Eldrick, that the you were given the cliff notes of the briefing,
right,
from Lady Fooling. She told you that as she was leaving that she would contact you
right,
in a more official capacity once all this ended to actually give you your full orders. So that's still coming.
Gotcha. Well, I'll relay that to the group. But I suspect in the next day or two we'll chat. I'll have a conversation with her, and we'll get that sorted. Once we know the full plan, then we can have a conversation about how we completely turn it upside down.
Well, if there's not much else going on here other than eating and recovering, I'm going to go find Miranda.
I think that is a good idea. This is out of character for a second, did you relay any of the information about your chase when you were investigating the note?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was forthright about that.
Gotcha. Well then, when you mention you're going to go find Miranda, Elbert gives you like a knowing nod kind of deal.
I imagine they've been evacuated here as well. If not, then I got where she's staying out of her, and I can try to track her down there.
You actually saw, as you were coming in here, that at least Diergo and Fionn were being herded into a room that is not far from here.
Excellent. That's
but
where I'll start.
That was some time ago. You've been here here for quite a while.
All right. Well then, can Sprout walk at this point?
Go ahead and make me a Constitution saving throw, Sprout.
That's never a good sign.
Does my +5 for my aura affect him right now?
It does.
Or is it negative? Okay.
It is a saving throw.
Saving throw, Constitution.
Unfortunately.
Be a natural one!
Wow, you gave that the good college not try.
Unfortunately, Sprout, you start to swing your legs over the side of sort of the stretcher that they brought you in on and propped up in this room. And as you're trying to do so, you actually lose balance, and the added weight as you have sort of started to recuperate to some degree actually causes the stretcher to tip over and dump you very loudly and very painfully onto the ground, and then you can't get up. You've fallen, and you can't get up.
I can't get up.
Eldrick's gonna rush over and try to get him back into the stretcher.
Quick, someone cast Life Alert.
I think we are the Life Alert. But yeah, Eldrick's gonna try to get him back on the stretcher. I guess strength 18. So
not a difficulty. With some help, you find that while he can't support his own weight with his legs right now, he could potentially, with some help, be moved.
Gotcha.
But he certainly cannot do it on his own. He's just too weak.
All right. Well, I'm gonna look out in the hallway and see if there are any guards around.
Actually, yes. As you open the door, there are a quartet of Bloodstone military that are posted directly outside your room. Your Excellency, is there something you require?
I was hoping to get back to my manor. How fares... what are your orders currently? Is it still shelter in place?
You... Marshal Killian did provide orders that if you wish to leave, you are to be escorted. But we will escort you to your manor if that is where you wish to go. We will shelter in place at a location of your choosing.
I would very much like to return to my manor.
We will
I can carry my sorry skinny butt now.
we will we will summon a carriage for you and your companions. Would you require one or two?
How many of those are there? There's a whole bunch. I think there's enough of this we need two, right?
It depends.
The large carriage that you were brought here in,
Mm-hmm.
which actually belongs to your family, would take care of all of you except for Sprout. As Sprout
What if,
would be lounging.
Sure. What if thoros'l wasn't in the carriage?
Basically, what I'm getting at is Sprout's going to need his own accommodations.
You just throw me on top of the roof.
You just strap you on with some. Yeah. The two. We will need two.
It will be
punch me down with bamboo shoots.
It'll be done, Your Excellency. We will alert you whenever your accommodations have been made. It will not be long.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you. Eldritch gonna head back in. Let the people, let his Scooby Squad know what's going down. thoros'l, do you want to jaunt down the hall and see if Miranda is still here?
Yep, I'll take care of that. See if she's here and try to track her down otherwise.
In fact, as you step out into the hallway and you realize that you're basically in a long corridor with similarly placed rooms that are like storage, like a storage cellar that has been converted to essentially make a shelter. There are similar clusters of guards that are posted at each door, and the one thoros'l that you saw Fionn and Diego go into is in fact the room next door. And it's not difficult for you to get access to that room and find that, yes, in fact, Her Excellency, the Duchess, the Baroness Sylvia, and Baroness Sylvia and her entourage are sheltering within.
Excellent. I'm going to knock on the door.
Well, that's what you get, is that you understand, you are led into the room as you approach, being a known member of the Baron's entourage, the Baron Eldrick's entourage. You are given access to the Duchess / Baroness. She still goes by the Duchess in some circles, which is why I keep saying that.
Gotcha.
As the door swings open, not thoros'l, Diego and Miranda get to their feet and are halfway to the door as you step through it and see that it's you. And Miranda's eyes go from very tired and very frightened to relief. The Baroness watches somewhat impassively from across the room as she appears to be having a conversation with Stana and Fionn. And she regards you with interest, but unless you address her directly, you're somewhat beneath her.
Great. I plan on ignoring her thoroughly. I will give kind of a nod to Diego and Miranda, and kind of offer to Miranda, do you care to go for a short walk? Just down the hall.
Are we permitted to do that? They told us to shelter here, and that they would return to retrieve us once the danger had passed. What's going on? Is everyone okay? Is Eldrick okay?
Yeah, everyone's well. Just thought I'd take this time to catch up. It's been a while since we've been in everyone's well. Yeah. It's been a while since we've been in the same city. After all.
That is true. Would you care to sit? Diego comes over and obviously takes you by the hand, shakes your hand, gives you, claps you on the shoulder, goes through the niceties. But once he realizes that you're here for Miranda, he's like, "Yeah, I've been here before." He looms nearby, like protectively, not necessarily possessively, but very protectively. But given that it's you, he is considerably more relaxed.
I was hoping we could talk in private, if you have a moment.
Let me return to my lady and inform her that you have come for me, and I will. I'll gladly take a walk with you, thoros'l. Can you tell me anything about what's happening? I'm sorry. I'm just, my nerves are shot. Let me go in and speak with Her Excellency, and I'll go with you. So she does exactly that. She goes and whispers to Diego, who kind of looks at you and gives you a nod, and then he returns to the other end of the table, the other end of the room at the table, and with Miranda. She has a very brief conversation with the Duchess/Baroness, and she, again looks you over. Miranda, can be seen explaining who you are, basically, and she gives you just a little bit of a nod, an acknowledgement of, that you're more than just a common, page or messenger, and then Miranda and Diego rise together and follow you. Diego serves as sort of my escort. A lady of my station traveling alone with a strange gentleman is, even an old friend, is not exactly appropriate.
She just called you old.
Yeah, well, I am old. It is, as long as it's okay with you, and I'm gonna...
Diego looks affronted, but is wise enough to not voice that. And she kind of gives a little bit of a laugh and gives a nod and says, "Diego's a friend, a dear friend. He remains a dear friend." Is what she says.
Bullshitting me?
Insight check.
Oh, 13.
Not at all. As far as you're concerned, she appears to be very sincere.
I'll give a nod and I say, "All right. Let's see if these army folk can get us maybe a private room to talk for a little bit, or at least we can stroll down the hall a bit."
That'll be fine. Diego actually follows at a respectful distance, 6 to 10 feet behind you, just to provide you with the privacy that you're seeking.
I'll ask the guard guy if there's a place where we could talk in private.
I'm sorry, but is it my lord? Regardless, we're somewhat full to bursting. Perhaps the courtyard.
I think that will work fine. We'll head towards the courtyard.
Yeah. So you basically this kind of hallway that you're in is not exactly open air, as there are portcullises or large portcullises that kind of shut it off on either side, but it's never fully closed to the world outside. This is kind of like where carriages will pull into and drop off goods and people and things like that, and then continue forward. So it's like a large valet station, but it goes under the palace itself. It's easy for you to climb back up. You're underground to some little bit, but climb back up using the same pathways that those carriages would, and then you're out in a stunning, breathtaking courtyard in the actual palace courtyard itself. The entirety of the high palace, which is the number one building in the city of Heliogabalus, and all of its grounds are effectively open to you. You see that there are clusters of soldiers, that far more than you would expect, just given the high alert that the city is currently under. I mean, instantly you clock probably the better part of a company of soldiers that are kind of stationed in various sections of the courtyard itself and the castle grounds. But it's easy enough for you to weave through them and stay far enough away, and you're not molested by anyone. You're recognized. You're a known quantity, and so is Miranda. And so you're able to take a stroll through the castle grounds and have the privacy that you require.
It's... How long did you say you've been in town?
What? She's kind of a little dazed, clearly very tired. It's probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning at this point. Sun is going to start rising, and you've been up all night. I'm not even sure what day it is. Wait, no. Yesterday was my birthday, so we arrived the day before. So 2 days ago.
First, let me say that there's nothing to worry about. Whatever happened in the city, it's gone, and I'm sure that between Eldrick and I guess the King's men here, it'll get taken care of shortly.
She kind of smiles at that. Very familiar with what you're talking about, given that she traveled with your band for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. A lot's happened in the last several months.
For us too, it's been different since we left, since you left. Alex is he's deteriorating, and he is under direct care of Her Excellency almost all the time. It's rare that I am able to go and see him, but I see him when I can. There's something wrong with his mind, something that happened. I don't know if it was out there, wherever it was that we found ourselves. Something. He's very sick, thoros'l, and I worry for him constantly. But he's under the care of the best physicians in Ostel. The Baroness has pledged, as he is a new noble of Ostel, just as I am, as pledged to take care of me and our combined estate for as long as possible, as long as is needed. But I miss him, and I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm sorry to hear that. Your brother was very valuable to our missions early on, and I don't know, it's sad to see, when family is hurt.
Did your intention the last time when you and Eldrick left was to seek out your own family? Were you successful? Did you find any word of them? Any knowledge, anything at all? Did you find what you sought?
We did, actually, and there's a brief smile on his face. He doesn't never smile, but
Right.
This one's actually kind of genuine.
Right.
I have Eldrick to thank for that as well. It's, to be honest, I don't think we would have succeeded without him. But we did. We found her. We found my daughter. Saved her.
No one can stop Eldrick.
True.
I'm very happy to hear that. I'm very, very, very happy that. I hope that this brings you some peace. You seem different, thoros'l. I can't quite put my finger on it, but you do. You seem a lot different. I hope that it's good. I hope. Can I ask? Did you find your daughter? Did you find your wife?
Found my daughter. And she's well, at least for the time being. It's a complicated story. I'm not sure we have enough time for all of it.
She
But
brightens regardless. Like this is a good thing, right? You know.
yeah, absolutely. Yes. The best. Probably the best thing that's happened to me in the last many years. I mean, since I thought I'd lost her.
thoros'l, can I ask you something? What your armor, the and the bandages and the things. What made you choose? You look different. What what was the catalyst or the decision behind this change? It's been bothering me since I first saw you at the party.
The last time I was in town, uh, Shebrash decided to send me a reminder of what it means to seek vengeance. I keep it, and he'll kind of rub his arms a little bit, and the pain doesn't go away, but I guess neither does the reminder.
Why does it? Why does that seem familiar? This, and she puts a hand on your breastplate. Have you had the breastplate repaired? Do you still have the 4 or the 5 scars across the symbol of Shevarash?
Um, I think I would have tried to get it repaired, but I mean, who knows how well the repair would have gone? It would have been hasty.
There are still visible lines. It's been re-enameled, it's been repainted basically, but and the actual gouges have been hammered back out. But it's very clear that the breastplate was scarred still.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of puts a hand on it, and she sees that that you took some damage there, authentic battle damage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She says, "Why does this seem familiar to me? I haven't seen you in months, or at least a month, and you come back, and it's like almost like you stepped out of a dream. I've seen this before somewhere. Haven't I?"
Kind of looks at her questioningly.
She looks really confused. I'm gonna roll for her a history check, and as she is technically a character, a PC, she kind of shakes her head. She's like, I'm just so tired. I'm sure it'll come to me, but I can't remember, or maybe it's not a memory. Maybe it's I don't know. I'm sorry. This I'm not feeling my best.
Miranda, did I see you in town the other day? Maybe near the whatever that area is called. Where the walls meet. Where's that called? What's that called?
The oh wow, the Triune Gate.
Yeah, near the gate. The Triune Gate.
I suppose it's possible. Let me get us back onto the Heliogabalus map so we can see what you're talking about. Bear with me just a second.
Did you? And then as she kind of like falters a little bit with that, he'll interject. Did you try to send a message to Eldrick?
I didn't even know that you were in town. A crossbow bolt? She looks at thoros'l like now seriously very confused. I'm sorry. What? Why would I shoot a crossbow bolt at Eldrick?
I think
no. That's not my message. I don't tend to deliver messages by crossbow, or thoros'l.
Oh, I think Are you sure? I mean,
I'm fairly certain that I didn't fire a crossbow bolt at Eldrick. Yes, she looks a little perturbed at the accusation.
Get away with the ladies.
I
and
was
that
going to ask. I ride in carriages everywhere I go. I don't even have the opportunity. I haven't ridden a horse since she stops there and won't even bring herself to say the name of her the horse that Eldrick provided to her, Molly, that tragically died in the wastes of Vasa. I haven't even been able to ride a horse. I'm watched everywhere I go. The propriety is a prison for me, thoros'l. No, I didn't. I don't believe that I saw you anywhere in the city. I've only been here for. Well, we came in on my birthday, which is actually the 19th, not yesterday, 2 days ago. We came in on my birthday. We took in a few shows, and then back to the inn where Sylvia just, for lack of a better word, she keeps me under her thumb. I think it has something to do with Alex, or my estate, or my fortune, or something of that nature. But
so it wasn't you I was chasing across the rooftops?
no, absolutely not. I wish, because then at least I'd be able to. I'd be out doing something. She kind of chuckles, kind of helplessly. But no, I've been in town for now almost 2 days, and the only places that I have been are the theaters, the inn where we're staying, a few shops along the path to between the theaters that the Baroness insisted that they stop at, and then Eldrick's home. I've been with either Diergo or Fionn or Stana every moment since we arrived. They can tell you that. What happened? Someone shot a bolt at Eldrick? Were they
Somebody
trying
tried to pass me the message, and when I went to investigate, I could have sworn I saw you, but apparently not.
Do you remember? She kind of gets her jaw sets a little bit, and she stops walking, and kind of not necessarily pulls you to a stop, but if you keep walking, you're going to walk past her. She kind of digs in her heels a little bit. Do you remember when we came up from the sewers, those awful sewers under the Selgaunt city, and you said, and Eldrick said, with absolute certainty that you saw Alex whisk himself in with magic and steal that stone from you, and then whisk himself away? Do you remember that?
I do.
I was with Alex the entire time that could have been even a possibility. And yet you saw him. You believe you saw him. And I can tell you with certainty that it was not him. So whatever you think you saw, thoros'l, you didn't see me.
Just the message was very direct. Or I guess the message was telling Eldrick to stop. It said, "Stop Eldrick," or "Eldrick, stop," over and over again. It wasn't you?
Why would I want Eldrick to stop? That's not my message, thoros'l. No. I didn't send the message.
I was just worried. I was picking up a little bit of what you were hinting at with the Baroness. If she's got you in any sort of captivity, if she's holding your brother hostage, you can tell me. If anything like that's going on, I'll take care of it tonight.
It's nothing I can't handle, thoros'l. Don't worry about me. You can tell she's a little upset, and recall, she's a 16-year-old girl. You have upset her. You have accused her of horrible things, and she has even though you were drawing on a long period of all of about 4 months traveling together, you've seen a lot of shit together for sure. But you have pissed her off, and she is not inclined to have much more of a conversation with you at this moment.
That's fair. I'll nod. I'll say, then let me walk you back at least part of the way. Diego can take you the rest. But reach out if you need anything.
She kind of pauses for a moment. Still walking, but kind of slows for a minute. She says, "Thank you for coming to see me. It really has been good to see you. Can you say hello to Eldrick for me?"
I'll nod.
Things are really going well for him, huh?
I guess they are. That's yet to be seen. I'm not sure that he wanted all of this wealth, riches, and power to begin with, and now that's in his lap, I think he's just kind of dealing with it.
You can see, without an insight check, that she knows exactly what that means and how that feels. You get back to Diego, and she kind of disengages from you and goes to him, and he takes her arm, and she kind of turns back, holds him for a moment, turns back and says, "Please be careful out there, thoros'l. It's getting really bad, isn't it?"
He'll shrug. It always seems like it gets worse, but I think that's just getting older.
She kind of smiles a little bit at that. The smile does not quite reach her eyes. If you're ever in Praca, send a message to, well, not the palace. We're not staying in the palace right now. But send a message to the Baroness, and she'll see to it that I get it.
Take care, Miranda.
You too, thoros'l. Take care of Eldrick. He's gonna need you. As she turns and allows Diego to take her back to the palace. That is where we will end tonight's session, as it is a little bit after 10 o'clock. We are, poor souls, we are going to go ahead and call it there. My intention is that we will be back on the 19th for episode 30. Thank you to everyone who came out tonight. I hope you guys had a good time. It is always fun for me to get to share this world with you. I love it. One more hour of being told. Big Tuna, thank you so much, Big Tuna. You can catch us here every single Tuesday that we actually play, and that's not actually true that we play on every Tuesday. But normally Tuesdays from about 8 o'clock to about 10 o'clock is when we play Bloodstone. If you're interested in any more of our story, this is the 29th episode that we have streamed. All of those are available on our YouTube channel, which I am putting up in the chat right now. Please go out and check those. Check for those VODs. Again, this is episode 29. We have 28 episodes that went before this, and that is just what has been streamed. There are 5 episodes of our pre-stream game where we picked up after something of a hiatus. Sets up a little bit of what thoros'l was talking about with the rescue, I guess, or the liberation or something of his daughter. And then there's like 13 years of backstory from before we started streaming, even before that I'm in the process of trying to digitize and get at least recaps of what has gone before. So if you're interested in more Bloodstone, please come back. We'd love to have you. Cast, thank you guys for everything this evening. It was a great session. I am very much looking forward to the next one and seeing what you do next. We're going to call it there for the evening. Guys, have a great rest of your week. We'll see you for Air Apocalypse action on Thursday. Friday Night Fights on Friday. And then potentially, we'll see, but potentially some Summoners Saturday, this coming Saturday. Keep keep tuning in. I don't know if people tune in to things anymore, but keep checking back on the channel for more information about our Starfleet Battles Academy streams. We did a patrol convoy last night, our convoy defense last night, and it was a lot of fun. We're up to 4 players now that are enjoying that along with us. It's good. Keep tuning in. Absolutely, please come back and see us Mondays potentially, or every other Monday. We're doing Starfleet Battles. As many Tuesdays as we can muster, get everybody together. We're doing Bloodstone, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday are our League streams. Please come back and check us out. Our Discord information is now in the chat as well. Our YouTube information is in the chat. If you have any questions or anything that you would like to share with the dads, please use our Discord or comment on one of our YouTube videos. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all those cool things. If you have Twitch Prime, Amazon Prime, you can get a free Twitch subscription every month that we would love if you would gift us with that. Definitely helps with us to do the kind of additional things that we do outside of just the gaming, like the giveaways that we occasionally do, and then our 2-year anniversary, stream anniversary, is coming up here in the middle of May, and we are going to have a tournament again this year, and it helps us to provide the little extras, things like the trophy and all of those things. But every dollar that you send to us gets invested back in the stream, so we would appreciate it if you have that. It's absolutely free. You just have to give it to us every month or resubscribe every month. We'd appreciate that very much. But guys, have a great evening. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you on Thursday evening. Good night and GG.
Adios.